Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Emma Shapiro, and I'm a little sleepy. I'm a little tired from the week. Comment if you are tired from your week, but pumped to hear about virtual wellness clinics, because I am here with Kim, and Kim is a physical therapy assistant. So for all you CODAs out there, PT assistants, tune in, because she has created her own practice, and she's actually 5 years into this. Stretch Physical Therapy is her wellness practice. That's a combination of wellness and physical therapy. But she's really actually highlighting more and performing a lot more wellness these days. And so I brought her on because with insurance changes and burnout, I think wellness is the next hot thing. What do you think, Kim?
Well, I tell you, when I'm looking at my caseload, it's a lot easier to sell a wellness service than it is physical therapy services.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'd love to learn. Why don't you just quickly introduce yourself and really, briefly, share some facts about you, and then we'll dive into virtual wellness.
All right, cool. Well, Kim Narker is my name. I'm the owner of Stretch Physical Therapy and Total Wellness. And then I also have Stretch and Recover, which is a recovery-based modality system that is entirely on the wellness spectrum. There's no physical therapy associated with it whatsoever. The physical therapy, I've actually been in business. This May will be 7 years. So it took me about a year to get up and going, to make sure I had all my I's dotted and T's crossed, and have been in business since 2000. Started with the wellness and PT, and
So Kim, you were just talking a little bit about yourself. Why don't you share a little bit about Stretch Physical Therapy and your other endeavors?
Absolutely. So I own Stretch Physical Therapy and Total Wellness. We're in Ohio. It is a PT and total wellness facility that specializes in manual therapy, mostly orthopedic cases that we get people back to 100% and performing and doing the things that they were able to do before pain came into the picture. So also have a Stretch and Recover. That is a recovery-based modality system that is totally on the wellness side, that just sells recovery-based solutions for your people who need to recover fast to get back to working out.
Awesome. So, I highlighted a little bit in the introduction that when you and I were talking, you said that pretty much now, like versus at first, you're shifting to almost all wellness. Can you talk a little bit about that decision and why you're doing that?
So the wellness part of it, and when I say shifting, so I have physical therapy, wellness side, I have PT maintenance, which is physical therapy maintenance, which is just a maintenance program that we keep our hands on people. I also have a mobility product, and those mobility products and services are sold for people who do not have pain. So if you search Google for stretching or something like that, you're going to get that 500,000 people every 5 minutes are searching for stretching. So they're not looking for pain relief at this point. So if you want to get that consumer way far ahead of the spectrum, and they're not even looking or considering physical therapy, then you want to provide a service that is going to be able to meet their needs so that they can achieve their performance-based goals. And those are all on the wellness side. Also on the wellness side, I've hired a personal trainer, and he has different programs, and those programs that he offers are all wellness. The Stretch and Recover is going to be an athletic trainer that's going to be helping these people to get from non-pain sides over to a performance-based side. So it's just a whole different level of clientele that we can now get, because we're not offering pain relief only.
Yeah. It's sort of like you've opened up. So it's like before you were targeting just, this really small subsector, and now you can get, a lot more people. Because wellness is huge. A lot of people, they need that aspect. It's basically like we need personal trainers in our lives. We need accountability. We need people to help So how have you seen your profits change since integrating a lot more wellness in your systems?
So the profits, so from a physical therapy practice standpoint, that profit point is anywhere from 20 to 35%. And a wellness side practice can be 40 to 60% profit.
Wow. And why do you think that can you explain a little bit more about why that would be, that there's so much more profit? That's almost double profit.
Well, the cost of a PT and the cost of a personal trainer is much less. People are, I hate to say it, but we're not the first discipline that people choose when they're in pain or they have a mobility deficit. They're going to your doctor, your chiropractor, your massage therapist, your personal trainer, and then they're choosing physical therapy. So if we're going to change that paradigm, we need to be wellness advocates and help people move better, because that's what we do. So we have to offer solutions that are lifelong solutions that help people understand why they're not moving well and what we can do to help them move well and perform better. And if you collaborate with other disciplines such as personal trainers and massage therapists, they know what they're missing. They know that they have clients that they can't handle. So why not partner with them and help them out and be collaborative, and everybody wins in that scenario.
Oh yeah. It's like you're like a one-stop shop, what's better than that? It's like you're serving all people. So talk a little bit about, as a PT assistant, I feel like wellness basically takes off a lot of the limitations that you may have as a PT assistant. Can you sort of talk about how you're navigating the wellness side of therapy as an assistant?
Well, we come to work every day, and we provide a physical therapy service that includes passive range of motion, active assistive range of motion, manual muscle strengthening, therapeutic exercise, neuro rehab. A personal trainer comes to the table, and they can do personal training, and they can do some corrective, which they call corrective, which is not even in our world of corrective. And they can do MAT, which is muscle activation technique. And they're very limited in what they can do. We are not limited in what we can do. And we actually help fix people and improve their lives. So on a wellness side, take your license out of it. You still have that skill set, whether you choose to keep your license or you choose not to keep your license. In our state, and every state is different, so you do need to check your state laws and follow those. And you also need to see if there's a wellness practicing board in your state as well. But in my state, we do not have a wellness board. So anything that falls under wellness is what falls under wellness. Okay. When it comes to a PTA or a PT performing wellness services in the state of Ohio, what they recommend is that you present yourself as Kim Narker, and I'm going to be helping you with this, instead of presenting yourself as Kim Narker as a physical therapist assistant. So you want to take your credentials completely off of it, because you still have the education. Okay. It's still better than a personal trainer or a massage therapist with that in your specialty. Use that to your advantage, but you don't use your credentials. You can't say I'm a PTA.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I was actually listening to Rob Vining's Telehealth 20 podcast a little bit to sort of prepare for this. And he had on someone who was talking about, basically teletherapy and telerehab as a physical therapy assistant. And they were also talking a little bit about wellness too. And basically what they said is, you never take off your rehab hat. It's something that we sort of always have. So you have to really navigate the legislation of every state. And unfortunately, the legislation of every state is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So that's what Kim's mentioning is that basically you have to check your state's Practice Act and see if it says that you can do wellness and what it sort of says logistically there. And if you have any questions, contact your state and then more specifically ask them. And in the podcast that I was listening to, what they said, because they deal with this just like I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with it, both on the virtual side, but just on the wellness side too, is the fact that it's really unclear for therapists, can I safely do wellness without hindering my license? And what they talked about is the fact that as long as you're trying to show in good faith that you're trying to the best of your abilities to follow your rules, then you'll be okay. The worst that can happen is that they say, hey, you can't do this anymore, or you have to change the wording. So that's just peace of mind for some people, is that you're going to be such a small business at first that they're not going to be coming to audit you, but that if you really just try to show that you're trying to have your eggs, all your ducks in a row, then that will be okay if you're doing wellness, or if you're doing virtual as well. Anything more you want to add to navigating like the legal aspect of being an assistant, Kim?
Well, again, it comes down to skill and what you know as a skilled person. Who better to know that even if you are doing a wellness service and you're a PTA or you're a CODA, we know all too well the value of a physical therapist. So creating a relationship with a physical therapist and a referral system to a physical therapy when it's needed, it is going to be what you're going to have to do. So again, building relationships is what I would add. Understanding and looking for wellness boards. You need to know your state's guidelines on wellness, and some have wellness boards, some do not have wellness boards. So you truly need to understand the wellness side of things and reach out to people if you can't find anything on Google to see. In our state, you can't find anything. I know a lot of holistic practitioners, so I really looked into it. But again, if you don't put your credentials on it, you are not treating and performing physical therapy services. And as a PTA, I think it's easier than a PT, because I know that when I sign that note, I'm signing it with my name and my expertise. And I know that it's easy for me to say I'm not performing physical therapy services because I'm a PTA and I can't. Whereas a PT, it's not as easily distinguished, and it can be some crossover. So just know it's not a firm line. Okay.
Yeah. And even the differentiation between, can you talk a little bit about who would qualify for wellness versus who would qualify for your therapy services, just for people who want to know, well, when can I provide wellness and when can I not provide wellness? Because there's the life.
I think
there's also just
this is how I train my staff, is your Oswestry forms, your neck disability indexes, things like that. Those are PT all day long. If you have a customer fill out one of those forms and they're on that side of the form where insurance is not going to cover, that's wellness. Another way to look at it is our insurance companies really want to pay for services to get a person to a 3 out of 10 pain. They're not looking to get someone to a 0 out of 10 pain. Okay. So you have someone who has a 0 to 3 pain level, and it doesn't interfere with their daily activities, and they are just having a hard time getting their leg out when they do an Indian seated position. That's not physical therapy. Okay. They are coming to you to gain mobility in their hip. And now, can a physical therapist do it? And can, through physical therapy, you do it? Yes. However, a lot of practices don't. It doesn't change. It doesn't impair their function. They can get in and out of the car fine and all of those things. So those are people that won't help, stretching, feeling tight. Those people, I get calls all the time. And I'm going to be honest with you. They go, I don't want physical therapy. I just want stretching.
Yeah.
And that's hard because they need physical therapy, but they're coming in for stretching. But just know, and this is the thing I tell my professionals, PTs and PTAs alike, and CODAs and occupational therapists. When somebody calls your office and you turn them away because you don't feel like you should help them because you don't know if it's going to interfere with your license or not, they're not going to stop seeking care. So now their choices of care are going to be chiropractic, personal training, massage therapy, and other people that are, in my opinion, not as qualified to help them move better. So they're going to go to a personal trainer and he's going to have them foam roll. Well, can't you do better than that?
I agree with you so much. Like when I was preparing for this, it was the same thing. Actually, I was hearing multiple people say the same thing, that there's an ethical dilemma we have. And the ethical dilemma is that sometimes for some patients or some people, they may be on that line, like what you're saying, like a blurred line between, well, I can sort of give them PT or OT or speech, or, or it could be wellness. And, am I treating, there's that fine line. But the thing that you have to remember is that it's an ethical, that's an ethical conflict. But the other ethical conflict is that, do you help this person or not? And you are helping them either way. And so if they're on that bubble, you are ethically, we're supposed to help people and help treat them. So that's where I think in that ethical dilemma is that if it's on the border, do what's ethically right, but also helping them is part of our ethics. But
and again, I think looking at it, Emma, and it may seem extreme, that person is going to walk out your door and find somebody to help them.
Yeah.
So are you going to let them go to a massage therapist, and the massage therapist is going to stretch them and put them on a exercise program and talk about their wellness journey?
Yeah. Yep. I agree 100%. So if you have any questions, please let us know. Please put it in the chat. So really what we're doing right now is we're trying to ease your concerns about doing wellness, because wellness is actually a huge growing field. And especially virtual wellness is even huge, even more big. Grammar, sorry. But it's so huge. And so hopefully Kim has enlightened you the fact that just follow your practice act, and that can sort of assuage some of your fears, and do the ethics for the wellness. And hopefully you understand now that blurred line between wellness. Let's answer Jen's question, and then maybe we can dive into the virtual side of wellness. So
yep,
Jen
absolutely.
says that she's from Ohio too. Nice. Do you guys know each other, Kim? We gotta connect.
Yeah, and you have to where are you in Ohio?
She says that we cannot say we perform PT, but does Ohio allow us to list our credential in the biography in a brochure? I don't know that specifically for Ohio. Do you know that, Kim?
Well, for Ohio, I spoke to the board, and they didn't say you couldn't list it in a brochure, but they said when you were introducing yourself to that client and performing that wellness service, you could not state that you were a PTA. You had to just say, I have 20 years experience in the rehab field, or you just, so you know what? I don't even have people ask me, so it's not a dilemma for me. And I do put in my stuff on my website, Kim Narker, founder, owner of Stretch Physical Therapy, and I put PTA on there. But that's because I also do PTA services in my clinic, under the supervision of a PT. But as far as Ohio and that, I would call and ask to be exact. But you just want to make sure when you're signing them up for your wellness program, you have to have certain forms. There are things you need to do to protect yourself. But you don't want to say that I am a PTA, because they're going to walk out the door and say, I'm getting physical therapy.
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell them 100 times you're not getting physical therapy, and they're going to say they're going for physical therapy.
That is true. I feel bad for some of my occupational therapists, because I'm right next to them, and all the time they go into OT and they say they're doing PT, and I'm like, I swear. People just sometimes get a little bit confused.
Yeah.
But what I would say about the brochure is that, I mean, as a physical therapist, that is something I earned, and that is something that is a credential, just like you having a CSCS or, your OCS, NCS, SCS, these are credentials. So I think, and obviously check your legal act, but I believe that if you're doing it in a website, in a brochure, put your credentials. But what I think Kim is saying is that when you're signing, say, the notes, you're going to sign differently for wellness than you would for therapy. Is that correct, Kim?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So for wellness, I literally,
yeah.
I sign my name for wellness, but you don't have to sign anything for wellness. But I do just throw an initial down there just so I know that I did it over someone else doing it.
Gotcha. Now one question I have is like, do you ever take your therapy clients and then eventually shift them into wellness? Is that sort of like a natural flow?
Yep.
Or okay, perfect. So that's sort of like how your clinic works.
Mm-hmm. And they know that when they're walking in the door. Okay. That's upfront with them. They know their plan of care. They know their expectation, and to meet their goals, what their program looks like. So on our wellness side, those are programs. On our PT sides, those are plan of cares. So we have plan of cares and we have programs.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And honestly, I'm going to tell you, if you're starting a clinic or a virtual wellness clinic, anything, that's actually really smart, I think, to advertise the fact that you have wellness afterwards. Because a lot of people, if they like, know, and trust you, they want to keep going to you. They don't want to have to look for someone else. And so that actually could maybe be helping you keep your clientele, Kim. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So do you want to dive any more questions about wellness? Please put them in. Otherwise, we'll maybe dive into doing virtual wellness. So can you talk a little bit about, how that would work, Kim?
Absolutely. So you want to make sure that you have a scheduling app or something that's going to be able to schedule your people, do online scheduling, and that your application that you use for your wellness virtual stuff connects to that. That's important. You can do it easily through Zoom as well and schedule through a Google Calendar. But virtually, it's just as easy. I mean, you schedule your visits. You talk about the program. I start my program. There is a mobility. I call it a mobility assessment. And that's all just stuff that I do. And it's nothing to do with physical therapy whatsoever. I need to get a baseline. I look for goals for them because they have performance goals. They have stretching goals. I have one lady who her goals are to be able to lay on the floor and be able to jump up to a standing position. And that's what she wants to do over here.
I want to be a ninja.
So you listen to their goals, and once you have those goals established, then you backtrack that and go, well, how can I help them achieve these goals? You already know, again, passive range of motion, active assisted, active range of motion, stretching. You do this stuff every day. Find a technique and learn about it. My techniques are over my 7 years in practice. So my techniques come from what I have seen help clients and what I have seen help them on the PT maintenance side. I have, the maintenance side. But as far as virtually, when you can't get your hands on them, it's awesome. I mean, people will jump on the phone with you at any time and do a Zoom call with you at any time and pay you money to do that. And I'm telling you, personal trainers are doing it right now. I have a training clinic that is doing it right now, and he's killing it. He's killing it.
I know. When we get off this call, I'm so excited to learn from you, Kim, because I'm pumped. I'm getting my tools set up. I'm ready. I want to learn this. I got two questions actually for you that I just thought of. One is if you're doing wellness, do you still need to follow HIPAA regulations, or how does that work?
You still want to cover yourself personally.
Got it.
Okay. So you still want to get liability waivers. And I'm telling you, I have more liability waivers on my wellness side than I do on the physical therapy side. Okay. Because, I mean, everything that I do, it's we are doing this and this is not meant to be diagnostic. This is not a physical therapy service. You have to sign, you have to date it. We go over precautions. I mean, I don't know any holistic place that puts the time and energy into making sure that we are informing the customer and making sure we're following indications, contraindications, and things like that.
Gotcha. If you can't see or hear anything, just try the refresh. I think it's working good on our end, but just try to refresh it, Hannah. That's good to know about HIPAA, because that was one thing I was wondering. The other thing is especially for virtual, I know for therapy, we have to have, basically, we can only practice within our state or wherever we're licensed. Is that the same for wellness, where we can only practice wherever our license is? No? Oh my God, sign me up right now.
I don't know if we need to look into, I may be jumping into Pandora's box and I get things in my email tomorrow, but I mean, wellness is wellness. Exercise personal trainers have a national certification. They can practice anywhere. Wellness boards, I don't know how monitored they are. So I'm going to say that we can practice across state lines and not have to worry about it. I guess that all of the legal stuff, because you're not dealing with insurance, is gone. I mean, we're here talking about, I mean, what's to stop you from talking to your sister about wellness? Do you go, oh, wait a second, maybe I can't talk to you because you live in Georgia?
That's awesome. That's huge, Kim. See, I did not know that. We need to like yell it from the mountain. Oh my gosh, because I feel like the biggest burden, because I've been playing with virtual, wanting to open up a virtual clinic, but my biggest fears, and please, I want to know everyone's biggest fears about starting a virtual practice, and then especially a virtual wellness practice. Please put them in the chat. But my biggest fears is just all the different legislation, following all my rules. But one big thing was I did feel limited by the fact that I could only practice in the states that I had my license in. But basically what you're saying is that because you're almost taking away your license, like, you're not acknowledging that for wellness you're a PT or an OT or a PTA, that then those regulations are sort of lifted. That is so amazing.
You have to make sure. I would probably put something in my paperwork that would say that we are giving recommendations that are not at all medical advice. Again, those liability forms need to be completed.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I mean, the liability waivers make complete sense, and the LLC, that makes complete sense too. We want to cover ourselves financially and with all those different waivers. There you go. I'm sorry, guys, if you're having any trouble seeing it. I promise I'll get a replay out, and that should be really clear. And I'll post this to Facebook too. So any questions though, please put if you have any fears or questions with virtual wellness clinics, because that's why we have this limited time with Kim. So please put that in the chat. This is a personal question, but do you enjoy doing wellness or the therapy side more?
I like both. All of us like that challenge of everything. I mean, our clinic is a very complex clinic, so we get very, very complicated cases, and to me, they're easy. But the cool thing about the wellness side is, so you get to dive into really seeing a difference in little things. And one of the little things are, like I said, I'll have a patient that comes in and sits down, and their clients, not patients, but sit down on the mat and say, why is it when I'm in yoga class, this knee is higher than this knee? And you're able to discuss something that is easy to show them, do a technique or techniques or things, and help them make that better, and then show them, hey, we're the person to come to. You're not going to get that from a physical therapist, from a personal trainer. You're not going to get that from a massage therapist, any of that. So my wellness clients, I grow and learn. So we have a pretty efficient system the way we do it in our clinic, and our clients love it. I love it because I get to see them every month come in, and then if they need a little bit more, then I can, I call it an upsell in business, but I can help them. So I love and it's easy. There's no documentation. I write very little down. I do write down what my findings are, but I don't do a SOAP note or anything. I write my findings down, what I've given them, and then I give them the education that they want. They go on their way, and they have the freedom to schedule whenever they want to schedule if they want to come back in.
Oh my gosh. Wellness sounds like amazing. It sounds like the golden treasure. So it's like you don't have the state like restrictions. You hardly have any more paperwork. This is crazy. And you get to see more people and help more people. Oh my God. Hey Barbara, thank you so much for putting in some of your questions here. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you always being on here. You rock. So Barbara's asking, I struggle with setting boundaries for setting appointments. Good question. Do you do evening appointments or weekend appointments? Sort of how do you work with that?
I'm 8 to 6, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I am Tuesday, Friday, 8 to 12. And I do not see clients after that time. I do not.
Awesome.
And you know what? I block off my schedule. So if I have an area in the towards the end of the week for the next week that is not totally booked, I take and block that off so that they fill in to the other areas. And then I open it back up if it's needed.
Okay. That's good.
So
good to know. Hopefully.
Self-care and taking care of yourself is most important. You have got to set boundaries, because if you don't, it's going to drive you crazy. You'll be taken advantage of.
Yeah, will do. That makes complete sense. And you'll just be exhausted. I mean, a lot of us are doing this to leave our burnout. We don't want to start another burnout on top of that. I had a unique question for you is, do you ever have to does anyone ever give you pushback for wellness? Like, do you ever have to sell wellness? Or, because, maybe some people are like, well, why would I go to wellness for you versus personal training or versus an ATC? Like, do you ever have that conversation?
People like me for what they get and the results I give them. So I literally have been asked for my credentials twice in my career. People come to me because they trust what I say and it makes sense. And I hear that with every person. That makes sense to me. If you can get your product to where you can explain it to where it makes sense to the other person, the commitment's going to be there.
That makes sense.
Makes sense.
So then I have another question for you. Really fast. Barbara says, "What do you charge for a virtual visit?" Yeah,
same rates that I charge for a regular visit. Yeah. So I charge $150 for a visit.
Okay. And that's in Ohio, y'all. That's not New York or New Jersey or anywhere else. That's Ohio. So, yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's so hopefully that helps. And how do people feel when you say that you charge $150 a visit? Are you getting any pushback? What would be like your response if there was?
I've never told me that no one has ever qualmed about. They really haven't. Nobody complains about it. That's a lot of money, but they see the value in it and they do it. I really don't have any argument about money. It's what I charge, but that's because I have overhead and I have employees and I have business expenses. I mean, that's what I have to cover my business, and you have to know what that formula is, and we can teach that, but you have to understand what the cost of business is and then set your rates based on what is necessary to have a profit. So I'm not a single practitioner going out and making $150 a visit. Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense. I've heard rates around 100 though. And I think that's very reasonable too. I think you don't want to, undercut yourself or undershort yourself, because the perks and this is what I want to do actually next, Kim, is hear your sales pitch, because I feel like you rocking it and I want to know what is the magic words you're saying. But I feel like if you can, the benefits of being one-to-one and virtual, you can sell it so easy because you get that one-to-one experience versus in other places you maybe are 4-to-1. And so it's really easy to sell, but I'd love to hear your sales pitch, Kim. Like how do you get people to agree to $150 visits? Is this secret stuff? I'm asking for the secret stuff.
No, but let me tell you, I don't sell anything. I literally am honest. I'm transparent. I'm honest. I show them. I don't sell anything. It's all of, I feel like I'm helping people, and they feel like I'm the answer that they have been looking for. So, it's no sales pitch. It literally is customer service. And I have listened to my customers. I know what they want. I listen to what they're for, and I establish their program based on what they're looking for.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Jen asks that she's not very familiar with virtual visits. Hey, no worries, Jen. I'm still learning too. How long are your virtual sessions? That's a good question.
So we set ours up just like a personal trainer business does that I meet with. We collaborate. So they do 30-minute and 60-minute sessions. So our appointments are set up on the half hour or the hour, depending on what they pay for. So if they choose to pay for 1 hour sessions, then they get a 1 hour. If they choose to schedule half hours, then they get a half hour.
Got it. And so it's 150 for a half hour, or it's 150 for the hour?
Hour.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Any last questions? Because we are nearing the almost 8 o'clock mark. So any last questions, put them in. But I really hope that I can share with everyone before you all hop off. And don't worry, we will be giving everyone a recording and also put this on Facebook. I apologize if anyone was having any technical difficulties. I think my internet even is a bit crazy. But so I really wanted to share with you the amazing thing that Kim has made. And hopefully you've learned and listened and realized how amazing Kim is and how talented she is at sharing this wellness model. She really is. But hopefully you can share my screen. But Kim is creating and is going to do a live version of her Boss course. And basically it's a business in a box for learning how to create your wellness clinic. And she goes into virtual as well as brick and mortar and as well as solo practice. But all of the things you need to learn, like those liability forms, what waivers do you need to use, basically like how to cover yourself so you can treat without having any sort of fear or hesitation. We go over. She's also going over how to basically how to create like a natural referral mechanism within your practice and how to do wellness. And as you can tell, she's extremely talented in showing people the value of herself. And so within this course, you'll learn the value of yourself too, so that $100, $150 is extremely easy to sell to our patients. And obviously it's all about results. You know, Kim is an amazing clinician and she gets results, but that's what we want you to be able to do as well, because we know that you're amazing clinicians. And so we are launching this. So if you do sign up to the Boss program, and let me put the link in the chat here, and it's basically alternativehealthcarecareers.com/boss. If you do sign up for that, this is the complete program. Very few programs out there are a complete business program, going over marketing, going over business formation, going over the actual formation of your therapy practice, hiring employees, all of that Kim is going over. And we will be starting this on February 4th. And we're having a very special initial offer price because this is an amazing course and it will not be priced this low again for $697. And I know you may feel that is, if that is hard for you, let me know, because I can split up the payments. Right now it's not split, but if you reach out to me at alternativehealthcarecareers@gmail.com, I'd be happy to send you a unique link and sort of split up those payments to make it a lot more affordable for you, because we want you to be able to start this wellness practice with a lot of confidence and also not put a financial burden on you or your family. And so it is, like I said, $697. And let me go through all the things. You'll be learning how to start your brick and mortar practice. And I know that can be intimidating. You don't need to learn that for the course, but it's just an extra thing Kim is teaching you because perhaps that virtual wellness practice grows into a brick and mortar practice. Kim can tell you that there are some benefits of a brick and mortar versus a virtual. So it's nice to really basically in one course be getting 2 for 1 and learning how to do brick and mortar plus virtual. We'll be going over wellness practice. Here's a little bit about Kim. So a couple things if you didn't know it already, but she basically has an 80% conversion in her workshops. And this is how she gets a lot of her patients. So we'll be going over her secret sauce on how to really get patients. So this is not just, here's how to set it up. This is how to get your patients and how to keep your patients coming to you. She has 20 years of experience and 5 years of ownership experience. Should I play your video, Kim?
If you want to.
It doesn't matter. I won't embarrass her. But here's sort of an overview. So lesson 1, she's going to go into overcoming basically being sort of feeling some of the stigmas of an assistant. Now, I want to let you know that this is for PTs, OTs, but it's really unique in the fact that because Kim is an assistant, she has personally overcome the struggles and the questions that assistants may have. So if you're an assistant feeling really overwhelmed with starting your own business, whether it be a therapy business or a wellness business, this is the perfect course for you, because I don't know any other courses for assistants out there that teach this. But basically in the beginning, we go over mindset shift, communication, basically like introduction, and then we go into the business setup. So how to get started, picking your name, vision and mission, your salary, understanding just like the business setup. Like Kim said, she had to know what to charge to keep her business running. So we'll go over that. How do you know what to charge so that you can keep your lights on and keep your business afloat? We go over staffing and equipment. Now, obviously, some of this is for brick and mortar, but I think knowing how to staff is actually really helpful if you're even wanting to do virtual, because hiring people to me is very scary. All those rules and everything. And so what's really neat about this is you get to learn how to do that, and you'll have this in the future. So if you aren't ready for hiring people, it's okay, because in the future, you'll know how with this course. Then we go into marketing, public speaking, referral systems, then social media. And interestingly enough, here's a top secret from Kim, is that print and magazine advertisement is really how she is rocking getting some of her clients. Right, Kim?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of secret sauce. Converting calls to clients. This is huge in the fact that, especially if you have virtual wellness, how to basically prove yourself and validate yourself over the phone when you have a limited amount of time. You can already tell that Kim is very expert in this. We go over forms, intake forms, liability forms, tips and tricks. Basically, this is a start to finish, create your own, therapy wellness or brick and mortar practice. And it doesn't have to be just wellness, right, Kim? You could use this for either. Yeah. But what's unique.
Yeah. It's going to set you up for success from thought process to opening the doors and having clients, instead of sitting there and going, okay, it's open. What do I do now? No matter what you choose, whether it's a virtual or not. And hiring component, you're going to get busy, because once you learn these techniques, you're going to get clients. It's not going to be hard to convert these clients. And then all of a sudden you're going to be too busy, and you're going to be faced with the dilemma of, oh, I want somebody else to help me. But hiring wrong is one of the biggest mistakes that I made. So it's not a matter of, are you going to be successful? This is going to set you up for success.
And I mean, either way, I want to get back really fast to the webinar. Is either way, I hope that you learned a lot on this webinar. We shared a lot of information. So I don't want you to think that every webinar I do, I'm trying to sell you something. But I just think that, I can only share so much, and Kim can only share so much. And this is complex. Starting a wellness practice cannot be accomplished in one webinar. I cannot tell you all the secrets, and I cannot make sure that you are launching it successfully. That's why I'm sharing Kim's boss course with you, is because if you really truly are motivated to do this, you want to learn from someone like Kim, who has so much experience and is just doing this so successfully. You want to learn from someone like her. So some special bonuses too. So in addition to the course, you are going to get her Conversion Master Workshop bonus. That's basically where she teaches you how to set up those workshops that she does so you can get that 80% conversion rate just like she does. And that really will help you build your patients or your clients. She's also going to create a private Facebook group where she'll do some questions and answers. So if you continue to have questions once you've launched your practice, you can go into that group and she'll help you. We're going to have everything be downloadable. So the PDF files, the checklist, all of them, you can just print and download so that you can easily run your business. Let's see here. And then also, because I love websites, I'm a nerd, I will help you guys with your websites. So this is pretty amazing for $697. I really think it's an outstanding offer. So if you are interested to really get the proven model to start your business, start your wellness or therapy business, and really learn all the forms, how to hire, how to bill, all these things, check it out. Go to alternativehealthcarecareers.com/boss. And remember, you have about 10 days to sign up for the program. You just click the link right here. There we go. And it'll open up, hopefully, I can only share one tab, but it'll open up into a checkout, and then you just go and check out. Now, because you guys are awesome, you can use a special code. You can use the code, was it 50 off, I believe, right, Kim?
I think that's what the code is.
Yes, it's code 50 off to get another $50 off. And so that's only going to be good for the first 20 people because this is already priced super, super affordably. But use the code 50 off to get a little bit extra and get $50 extra off. And like I said, if you have any concerns about the pricing, you can just email me at alternativehealthcarecareers@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to split up those payments for you. So I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed by that. So does anyone have any questions? I'd be happy to answer them. We can go back to answering as many questions as you want to about virtual wellness and wellness clinics, but also if you have any questions about the Boss course. I'm excited for the Boss course. I'm ready to take it, Kim. I'm so pumped. I've been in my head thinking about it. I've been learning and listening to all sorts of things, and I've already been starting to create my website. So I'm really excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
and
you're going to rock it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm really pumped about the wellness now because you've sold me on that. I think that's what I want to dive into. So any questions here? Let's see.
Wellness is the easiest thing. And again, it's if once you get that, you take your hat off of so many concerns with it and really look at it through a consumer's eyes. You are better equipped to help a consumer with movement than a massage therapist or a personal trainer.
Yeah. For me, I like helping people just in general. A lot of times I work for the VA, and a lot of times some of the veterans I see, they're the long-term care veterans. So a lot of what I do for them is wellness. It's a maintenance program, which is essentially like wellness. But I still enjoy that because I've realized the importance of a wellness program, because without my wellness program, they would be contracted. They would be bedbound. Their life would be so much worse. And I'm not saying that to brag about myself or anything like that, but it's just, I see the importance now working with the VA and seeing these older gentlemen and seeing that if they don't come to me and if they didn't have me in their lives, that they would be so different, that they wouldn't be able to get out of bed, that they wouldn't be taking the couple steps to walk to the bathroom and that. So it's huge. It's huge. Wellness is so important. It's just as important as therapy.
Yep.
Hey, Angie, welcome. She asked, what wellness topics are offered that makes clients come to you and pay out of pocket versus telehealth wellness through insurance?
Yeah. So most of it for me is I get people that are tight. They go to the gym and they're tight, or gym owners send them to me because they can't get into a deep squat or things like that. So mobility, if I have to say there's a buzzword that really helps them commit and know that they're coming to me, it's mobility. Tightness, mobility, weakness. Most of the time they go, so their qualm that I have, I listen to their past failures. So if they've gone to physical therapy and they tell me that they've been to physical therapy, I ask them exactly what part of physical therapy was not successful. And in our area, the complaints are, I was put in a corner, given some exercises and left alone to do it myself. And I could have done it at home by myself because it's the same exercises every time I go in. So if you listen to that and you provide a service, virtual service, most of my clients, my virtual stuff came because my clients travel and they're in Ohio a certain amount of time and out of state a certain amount of time. And when they left, they were fearful. So that fear base led to them, it being a launch for virtual for me, because it gave them an alternative to not seeing me for 2 weeks. So, it's once you get your client, just listen to them. And a lot of them have constraints that they can't get into the clinic, but virtually for you to be with them, to go on vacation with them, or to be able to go, on a business trip with them and things like that. I mean, they have 30 minutes, but they may not have 30 minutes to be able to go into the clinic.
Yeah.
And
I think, Angie, you could do both. You could do health plus the wellness. So you could do both.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Telehealth, that's huge. We're just here, we're talking about wellness in the spectrum that it's something else, and how we draw that fine line of if it's a PT service or not. And again, it's about helping a client. You don't have to name it anything. Okay. And if you don't know how to name it, then you bundle it under wellness. But wellness, now you can't charge and bill insurance for wellness services because it is a maintenance or performance-based service.
Gotcha. Now,
yes.
This is one question I didn't ask, which Angie sort of reminded me. Can you ever use insurance with wellness?
Why would you? Why would you? I mean, your HSA cards will be covered if you have a business and you're a business entity and you're affiliated with physical therapy. Will HSA or FSA cover? Yes, absolutely, they will. But wellness is the absence of pain. Physical therapy is the ability to improve pain. So anything that keeps them away from pain, and that is going to be categorized in wellness. And do people use HSA money? Not for my wellness services. They don't. I actually had one client that used his HSA card, and I didn't know this. My staff took it, but he used his HSA card for our PT maintenance once a month, and then came to me and said that he needed receipts. And I told him, I said, this is a maintenance program. It states on all of our stuff, everything you sign, it says maintenance. And everything we submitted that we gave him said did you know there's a PT maintenance code?
No, I didn't know that.
Search for it. I'll have to get it and I'll have it ready for the course. But yes, if you don't know if you are pretty sure things are wellness and your person's pushing for something wellness, all you have to do is give them a PT wellness code. And it is a PT maintenance code. It's a 97 something. I have to look it up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, in the course, will we learn a little bit about billing and insurance, Kim?
I am going to talk about what type of payer system that you're going to start, whether it's going to be an insurance-based model, which would be in-network, an out-of-network based model, or a cash hybrid model.
Gotcha. And if you're wanting to do Medicare, Tony Mariotto is amazing for that. And so maybe we'll have him do like a little guest speak as well, just to sort of give you a broad overview, because he is really the master when it comes to that. But I think I was learning that you can't use Medicare and wellness. Yeah. but I'm not sure about that. You can't use Medicare and wellness, correct, Kim? I can't
PTA can.
remember. Oh, you can? Okay. Well, there you go.
PTA quota, because we're not working under the supervision of a PT. And if we call it wellness and we're offering services that help on the wellness side, which are maintenance, performance-based things, those are not covered services under Medicare. And whether they are or not, it doesn't matter because a PTA can't practice without the supervision of a PT.
Gotcha.
So if it's a wellness service that you're providing to a client as a PTA, it's your education. And yes, you can see Medicare clients.
Nice. See, this is why we have to take the course. I know nothing about this. Angie said, other than pain relief, what are some other wellness topics? So I guess, could you describe a little bit more about how we would differentiate those wellness patients from like a typical therapy patient?
Absolutely. Mobility, my assessments are called my mobility assessments. Okay. And we can go over that type of stuff as well, but, mobility, education. So people want to know natural remedies for, pain relief, sleep, anxiety, things like that. Essential oils, learn about essential oils and how to help people naturally. And that's just education. They're going to pay to get educated on what's a more natural thing. Nutrition, if you know anything about clean eating and nutrition and inflammation in the body, those are things that you incorporate into your wellness services as well. Stretching services, you can talk about, ways that they can stretch at home, or you can do mobility. I do mobility sessions at home and show them what they can do in the AM and the PM to gain and maintain mobility, strengthening, corrective strengthening, endurance type stuff, anything. I mean, you can offer ergonomic things for people under the wellness part, because when you're talking about in the office setting, people don't go to PT to get, their desk set up. PTs aren't going out to set up their desk unless that's what their job is to do. A PTA can actually help someone set up their desk so that they can improve their performance at work and become efficient and decrease, pain. So you can do work stuff. You can do at home, how to keep someone safe in their home and in their home environment. I mean, the sky's the limit, the opportunity that we have here to be able to help a consumer that a personal trainer cannot help.
Well, and even to me, the more I'm listening to you, the more I'm realizing that wellness it's almost like a tier here where we have like therapy, wellness, and then health coaching. So like health coaching, we really can't do as much strengthening and as much stretching. And so health coaching, we can talk about the nutrition, we can talk about general well-being, but we can't talk about some of the more exercise related things, but then wellness we can. So it's almost like wellness gives you the best of a variety of worlds. It's a little bit more free than health coaching.
Yes, absolutely. And again, it's your education, it's your expertise. So make it what you want to make it. It can be senior focused. It could be
awesome.
It could be chronic pain focus. There are so many focuses you could have. There are so many people out there that cannot get helped right now. POTS, POTS patients, EDS patients, MS patients, rheumatoid arthritis clients, Parkinson's. I mean, there are so many chronic pain people that when they finish PT, they don't know what else to do, but they can't function in their daily life. Why can't you help those people? And virtually, boom, because they need your help and they can't get out of their home, and physical therapy has discharged them.
Yeah. Yep. I agree 100%. So hopefully everyone has learned a bunch about wellness, virtual wellness, and just how to practice in general. Once again, I really highly encourage you to check out Kim's course, alternativehealthcarecareers.com/BOSS, BOSS, and check it out. Basically, you're going to learn Kim's secret sauce, how to create a wellness practice where people are going to be okay with paying you $150. Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you so much, Barbara. Where they're going to be okay with you paying that much, where you're going to know the forms, you're going to know the systems that you need to create. You're going to know even more the difference between wellness and therapy so that you can really keep your license and feel confident treating different patients. We'll even be going over how to find those profitable niches so that you can know how to find the type of patients that you want to treat and so much more. Any last words you want to share about the course and anything else you want to share just in general, Kim?
I would just say that I remember when I opened my practice that there was a course through the APTA, and I bought it and I went through it in one day, and it was not anything that helped me in any way. And I paid that money for it, and it really didn't take me anywhere. This course has every mistake that I have made in the past 7 years built into it so that you do not make that mistake. It's not going to only help you with mindset and where you are, because your mindset's going to shift no matter where you are. It's not going to only do that. It's also going to help you understand your value, how to show results, how to understand a customer, how to get a customer, how to know what your flow in the clinic is going to be, what forms you need to fill out, what the legalities are to be able to set whatever practice you want up, whether it's wellness, virtual, brick and mortar, whatever that may be. And in the group setting, we'll be able to talk more about ideas, and some of those ideas may be able to help you trigger and understand how you can get more clients as well. And then after all of that, it's going to talk about how you convert a client. I mean, this has everything in it. I would have bought this all day long before I started my practice had I had the ability to do it. So whether you're PT, OT, speech therapy, whether you're a personal trainer, it really doesn't matter, because you need all of these things to understand how to open a business successfully that is going to have clients coming to you, and then how to retain those clients as well.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm the most impressed about, Kim, is how you grow and maintain your business. That's what I really want to learn. I'm going to tell you this, guys, where it's very easy to start a business. I've started alternative healthcare careers, and honestly, I'm still figuring it out. I wish that I had someone like Kim who's so experienced, who could tell me the flow and who can tell me how to grow my business, like just in an amazingly reputable way. Like, I don't think I bragged about Kim, but she won this Westchester and Liberty Readers' Choice Award as a practice owner. So it's just, her practice is filled twice. Her practice is filled with like integrity and people that just really appreciate and are amazed by her work. And that's what I want to do. I want to create a practice that just has that vibe of just being so amazing and just amazing customer service and integrity. And that's what I know I'm going to learn with Kim. And so I'm just excited. And Kim, will you be going over a little bit about some of your wellness treatments? Because I think as a PT, I'm not too proud to say it, but I learn from people all the time. And I definitely learn from my assistants. And so I would love to learn, not on this webinar, but in the course. Are you going to show a little bit maybe about how you create your wellness sessions and go over that too?
It's in another course.
Oh, shucks. Maybe we'll give a tidbit. We'll give a tidbit in there so that you can at least start everything.
Yeah, it can make you successful in delivering results given treatment. The same stuff that I train my PTs on in the clinic.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yep.
There you go. Hey, I learn every day. I'm not too proud to say it. I am not the perfect physical therapist, and there's always so many more things you can learn. And based on like what your patients say about you, Kim, I know you're just an amazing clinician. But I thank you. I thank you so much for your time, Kim. Thank you everyone for being on this webinar. I will send out the recording soon. I will get this on Facebook. And if you have any questions, please let me know at alternativehealthcarecareers@gmail.com. If it is about more specifically the course, definitely email me. If it's more clinically related, you can email Kim at Stretch. I'll go down here, stretchphysicaltherapy.com. Kim at stretchphysicaltherapy.com. If you want to learn a little bit, ask some more questions about some of the specifics of the course and some specifics about the wellness. So thank you, Angie. Thank you, Jen and Barbara. I appreciate you. And everyone have a good evening. Bye.